National Assembly has passed a resolution to allow President Yahya Jammeh to stay in office for 3 months. Jammeh lost an election in December to opposition leader Adama Barrow and was due to hand over power yesterday. The veteran leader has also declared a state of emergency and says he will not step down before a court hears his election challenge. To talk to us more about this issue, we joined in our studios here in Johannesburg by Advocate Sipho Mantula, who is a researcher at the Institute for Dispute Resolution in Africa based in UNISA. Advocate Mantula, good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Refreshing morning, Palisa, and to the viewers.
Thank you so much for coming through. Let's just, hear your views as to what you make of the statement, especially that the Gambian National Assembly has allowed President Jammeh to stay for 3 months.
Palisa, I think this is a very interesting scenario in terms of looking at the post-electoral situation and crisis that the state of emergency that was being announced by the former head of state was first of all illegal, unconstitutional, and as well as the extension of yesterday for giving him another 3 months. Mm-hmm. The issue is that he was supposed to have allowed the electoral dispute resolution mechanism after the announcement last month. So what is now happening is that he's now forced, because the latest news was that Mauritania was now offering him asylum seeker, when actually ECOWAS have tried several times to engage him. President Buhari has been trying, but for me what I can say to you is that he has put the life of ordinary Gambians in danger.
Mm-hmm. And him declaring the state of emergency himself, you're saying it is illegal and unconstitutional. On what basis?
On the basis of their constitution, that when you declare a state of emergency, it will take 7 days, it will take 21 days, and in some instances you need the 2/3 majority, but there is no parliament. His cabinet resigned, even the vice president. So for me here, it is the issue of African leaders undermining their own constitutions, undermining rule of law. And one can say that it is the issue again that ECOWAS have been trying to even say to him that, why don't you allow the new president to come in? Because overall, one can say there's life after presidency. For me, is that many heads of state, it seems that they want to act like monarchies, when actually there is life after presidency.
And Advocate Mantula, what does it mean for democracy and governance of Gambia?
It means a lot, because that is a country that has been ruled with a iron fist, because Yahya Jammeh, since 1994, he took power by a force. Remember, it was not through the ballot, it was through the bullet. And what it means now, if I can be honest to you, is that you have refugees, you have the challenge of tourists not coming into that country, you have the issue around the African Union Charter on election, democracy, governance being undermined. So what it means, it is to say African Union does not even recognize him as from today. In fact, the African Union Peace and Security Council met last week and say, come this day, we're not going to be recognizing this former head of state. So for me, it is a matter of saying the state of governance, elections in Africa need a thorough interrogation.
All right, and he ignored the midnight deadline to step down, and we've also learned that troops from other African countries are poised to move into the country to ensure the transfer of power. What do you think will take place today? Will the inauguration of President Barrow, take place as scheduled?
There were two options. Inauguration could happen at the Senegal, the Gambian embassy. And secondly, the military intervention, it's a last option. For me, it is that why are we putting the lives of ordinary people into risk? And as well, Gambia doesn't have a military power or force. You have Senegal, you have Ghana, you have as well as Lagos coming in. So for me, it is that the issue is that he has now accepted, because last night when the vice president resigned, it was his last straw. And the military as well has changed their oath now, because some of the soldiers are now have done their uniforms in the street because they don't trust this man. because he say he will rule until, for almost a billion years. So that is madness. That is something that Africa must always question, and they must ask fundamental questions.
So it doesn't look like he's about to give up anytime soon.
I think he will give up by the end of the day today, because the military intervention will definitely take him out of the country, and the new head of state, Adama Barrow, will be inaugurated. Because
we've also seen Gambia's Chief Justice, refusing to rule on a petition by Jammeh to hear his objections to his election defeat. But what does this say about the judicial system of Gambia?
Gambia, there's no independent judiciary. For the past 18 months, the Supreme Court judges were not visible, they were not functioning. You will even recall that the electoral petition that he has lodged last year and early this year, the judges were from the neighboring countries. Even that former president went as far as asking the governments that are his neighbors to assist him with the judges. So the rule of law judiciary is not functioning, and you cannot parachute judges who will be on your side. For me, is that the former president was a player and the referee at the same time. So there is a need for us to strengthen and work on electoral court system. One will say that they should learn from us, maybe, because South Africa has an intact electoral court that is not influenced by parliament, that is not influenced by executive. So there is a need for the Gambia to work on its electoral processes.
All right. Now, you've also mentioned ECOWAS in our conversation, as you said that they had actually planned a military intervention to force President Jammeh to step out of office. What do you think would happen? I mean, you kept saying that you're concerned about the safety of the people of Gambia. What do you think we're likely to see unfolding from today?
One will say that in some instances one cannot give the blow to blow, because the military operation normally will always want to protect civilians. And secondly, one will say that the Ministry of Defense of Gambia will have to surrender, and President Jammeh will have to accept defeat, and that will be a military option, when actually this was supposed to be a diplomatic political situation or resolution. So the military one will say that they will not use excessive force, but they will only use it when his army or his mercenaries want to retaliate. So, and I think that's where we need to be saying, Africa by 2020, we are still saying we need to silence guns. So we cannot want to hear guns and bombs in the Gambia in this time.
And it is worrying as it is now, because troops are being sent, to Gambia as it is.
Obviously, you are sending troops because he has been very stubborn. He has not listened to his colleagues, former General Buhari. He has not listened to Mama Salif Johnson. So for me, it is a matter that maybe military intervention will make sense, but one is even confident with the role that was played by the head of state from the other island, that he has went there yesterday, last night, tried to engage him. Mauritania is trying to give him asylum seeking, and as well he has engaged with Adama Barrow. So there is, one can say, hope, because one has to be optimistic about peace and justice in that country.
Yeah, but personally, why would you think he's so holding on to power? Why is he clinging onto this position? You
know, there is issue of fundamentalism in terms of religion. There is the issue of clinching of power, where he was saying that he was cheated by the Electoral Commission, but he did not give Electoral Commission a space. In fact, he went to their head office, invaded, ransacked it, chased the electoral officials out of town. So for me, it was that he did not give the electoral dispute resolution mechanism a chance. So for him is that many heads of state, they are afraid. For me is that he has even moved out of the International Criminal Court. So there was no need for him to fear that he will be brought before the International Criminal Court, because there are many human rights violations that President Yahya Jammeh, he has committed. He's one of the leaders that many people, they don't know that he has committed many atrocities in that country. And funny enough, the African Commission on Human and People's Rights is based there. There is a move by the African Union that they should consider moving that office there.
All right. No, let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for sharing that information with us, Advocate Mandula. We appreciate it a lot.
Thank you very much.
All right, there you have it. That's Advocate Sipho Mandula. He is the researcher at the Institute for Dispute Resolution in Africa, based in UNISA, talking to us about the situation at Gambia. But we will be keeping a close eye on the issue today to see whether the inauguration of President Barrow will take place as scheduled.